All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Group Chart Analysis. Let's get this thing started. I have something to do, so let's get this over with. But I think this week's gonna be pretty good. Last week was kind of shitty because the prices were there was a lot of consolidation. The moves didn't happen until the end of the week, which is inconvenient. But it's at the same time it's all good because there's a lot of movement this week. And based on how certain pairs ended, we should be expecting a lot of movement to be coming out of these specific pairs. So with that being said, let's get started. Let's go towards EU first. Let me go here. All right, so last week it consolidated pretty much all the way through Wednesday, Thursday. And then Thursday we had a shot up, and then after Thursday it hit that high, hit a peak, and then it reversed back down towards that water. All right, so what am I seeing from here? Weekly is hitting the water in the Mayo. The daily is hitting the Mayo. The 4-hour hit the blueberry. Normally what I'm seeing here is I normally like to think about this is it come down towards that blueberry and then shoot back up to that high. It sounds about right. I want to see how it plays out. I would love to see it stop on high and not end up actually keep rising. But at the same time, it could. It's just hard to tell because right now there's divergence here. There's divergence here. And then there's divergence here, but it's not a shark fin. It's not where I want to see it. So I can't necessarily say this is the best part. Now, as in regards to what I think it could do, there's two things, right? Right now, the TDI is showing me that, and this is what I was just saying, the TDI is showing me that it looks like it's going to be breaking, dude. This thing looks like it's going to be breaking down below the water to that Mayo for a pullback. And then it's going to continue up. Because the TDI is opening. The RSI came over, hit that stationary 50. Notice that as they start to shift down, you'll notice that the RSI will start to go down with it. Like I'm expecting something like this. I'm expecting it literally to just drop, straight drop. The higher time frames don't say that, but on the hour it says it. I think it's going to shoot down a little bit. And on the let me see this 15-minute. This 15-minute is even throwing a bearish pennant. Could actually draw that. So, and it's below the stationary 50 right now. Like this is just I've seen this pattern here, and also this too. Here's low. Here's one low. Here's the next low. It took it out. This is a new low, and it's throwing that bearish flag. That I really do believe E is going to be looking for that drop. So personally, I'll be looking for that to happen tonight. If anything changes, I mean, obviously we'll see. It is a Sunday, so it is trap day. But sometimes, like if there's a setup, I'm a fucking trader. So this looks like a setup. This looks like a good setup. I'm going to look at this one. The next one we're going to look at is GU. This one is obvious as fuck. This is like obvious. I actually have a pending order in right at the Mayo. I might do a market execution depending on what it does. I don't even know if this is going to stop on either. I'm only putting it up there for now just in case it does. But to be honest, I don't even think this is going to stop. But I think what this is going to do is literally just consolidate until it hits that water, and then we're going to watch it tank, like just straight up tank. So keep your eyes out for that as well. That hard push that happened last weekend on Friday literally took out all the previous lows. This thing is 100% going to the blueberry. 100%. All right, so we're looking at 60 pips. We're looking at 60 pips. So that's if it straight drops. If it pulls back, you're getting like 100. Almost 100 pips. So keep your eyes peeled. Those of you that are in the chat, you guys, the main three of you are in the chat. I'll be looking at that. I'll let you know when I enter in on these trades because I'm looking at these trades like hardcore. So tonight, I'm looking at them to the drop. AU, the weekly it shot up, was oversold. The daily shot up, hit the water, but notice it's still below the stationary 50. And I like that. 4 hour, even though it's above the Mayo, it's okay. It's going off of daily hits. I really do believe this thing's actually going to take a drop tonight as well. Reason being is if you look at the hour, it started out lower, and what happens is it fills that gap, and then it can come right back down the tank. So we're going to be seeing this thing drop soon. I actually think this thing's going to be dropping a lot sooner than all the other pairs. So if you guys miss AU and you know that it drops, you're going to get confirmation that EU and GU are going to be dropping too. And also the TDI, if you look at the RSI right now, it's not divergent. Everything's below stationary 50. It's making its way down. We're looking for this thing to drop. All right, so we're looking for this thing to drop to at least down to that blueberry at first. It might go a little bit lower, but keep your eyes open for that because these are moves that I'm like sitting here getting excited about because these are just so fucking obvious. So gold took a fucking drop too. This thing looks like it actually could finally go back down to retest that zone. It's been hitting this resistance for straight this entire month. It has not moved. It's been consolidating for 4 weeks straight. So I think based off what we're seeing here, look at this TDI. Again, breaks down the TDI a little bit, but this thing is below the stationary 50 now. I'm betting it's going to drop. I have a feeling this week this thing is going to take that drop because all the other weeks, none of them look like this. None of the TDI, the RSI did not look like this. Look, it never was beneath the stationary 50. It never was outside the volatility band except for here, but it still curved back up. Like this one is not doing that. It shot straight down. It pulls back a little bit like a teacup, upside down teacup, and then it tanks. I believe this thing's going to drop. At least down to, if we're on the 4 hour right now, this recent low. All right? So be really looking for gold. These main 4 pairs, that's all I'm really looking at. Look for them to take those drops, and we'll see what happens. But I do believe these things are going to drop. U-Chief, that means U-Chief is going to rise. Look for the rise on U-Chief daily through that wick on the daily. It's still divergent here, so this was the stop hunt, the last stop hunt before it decided to shoot up. We're going to see a straight rise on this. Look at the RSI. It's coming straight out of the volatility bands, and it's starting to make its way up. So look for this thing to shoot up tonight. Break that water. 15-minute, it's already breaking. So the best option for you to do, best option would be for you to break the water, break the mail, come back, and then go up. All right. So look for those shots to come up, and it's divergent here. If you guys see this, it's actually inverted head and shoulders right here. You got the left shoulder, you got the head, and the divergence starts in the extreme over zone. This is an easy setup. This is literally identical. Left shoulder, head, which is a divergent W. And if it comes back down again to retest, you're looking for a buy. All right, so I think this is going to be a straight rise too. If you guys want to buy U-Chief, you can buy U-Chief. That's going to be later tonight. UCAD, it's still in consolidation. It's hitting that water. It's not quite out of the volatility band the way I like it. This thing could go back up, to be honest, because it never took out that low. So look for, just based off of this, because it's in a massive fringe right now, if you see the EMAs, it's in a massive fringe right now. All right, this thing could easily go right back up again. So look for this thing to possibly shoot up again and make its way towards that 1 hour Mayo. That's what I'm going to be seeing it for short term. I think it actually is going to go up yet. So the 1 hour Mayo is the 15-minute blueberry. Look for this thing to fill the gaps and let it rise. And it looks pretty fucking good, actually. So this thing's going to shoot out. These are all going to be breakout trades this week. So especially for tonight. UJ, what the hell was that? What is this? What the? I don't even know what this is. All right. This. And mark this up the right way. This thing is going to continue up. This way it shows it. Oh, damn. Yeah, this thing's going to shoot up. That's on the weekly. 1 hour, it's in that zone. The daily was in that zone, sorry. It was like at a high, but it didn't quite take it out yet, and it's not quite divergent the way. It is divergent. It's overbought. But it's like squeezing. Oh, here you go. See it? VB bands are tight. Everything's in the overbought zone. It's squeezing, hence gradual moves up. Okay? So you're going to be looking for that to happen if you have to. Draw out your trend lines, guys. Literally, I want you to like draw these out. I want to get this one. Those are your trend lines. Draw up the trend line. It's in a massive channel right now. All right. Draw them up and wait for this shit to rise. This thing's gonna rise. UJ, rise. GJ. Hold on. It's weird because this thing dropped, but GJ could actually take a drop. This hit that 4-hour water. Daily through that railroad. What did this throw? Didn't throw shit. So be careful, and let me stand corrected here. If this doesn't keep rising, it's going to drop to at least this trend line, right? All right, so it could drop towards that trend line. And then if it doesn't break it, it'll bounce off and continue. If it breaks it, it'll rebound and continue down. GJ formed that big ass railroad in the overbought zone, just nicked it. The weekly threw a massive wick right on the water. That's a railroad on the GBP pair, mind you, and it took out the lows. So look for this thing to drop. It's going to get caught up in here. It's either going to do that or it's going to break it, then consolidate, then drop. You are looking for a drop on this. I like this thing for a drop. EA. That's disgusting. What the fuck is this? Oh, look at that. Anybody see what pattern up there in the weekly? Y'all see that? Anybody see that? What's this called? Anyone? What's that called?
The evening.
Yeah, buddy. That's the evening star. It's on the weekly too. So the higher the time frame, the more basic Forex gets. That's a good clean pattern. This thing is going to be looking for a drop. So we'll be looking for this thing to take a drop. I think that's actually a head and shoulders or an M. It's an M. It's like that diverted M. It's not. Can't really say it's divergent, but if you guys see, it is divergent. This. So you have price overbought here, like crazy. Price going all the way up. Finally takes it down. This is like the ugliest head and shoulders I've ever seen. I can't even consider this a head and shoulders. But it dropped down, took out some lows, formed that peak, made a completely new low, shoots up, hit that 4-hour water. Anybody want to guess where the next spot for this to go is based off of where it's at? Hit the water. It has to drop. Where's it going to go?
Mayo. Blueberry or mayo?
The Mayo. 4-hour Mayo. It should be the 1-hour blueberry. So we'll be looking for this thing overall to take that drop. Now, it did hit that water here. I'm trying to find like a precise entry. If it pulls back up and it doesn't take out the peak that it just started, we'll definitely be looking for sells. But this thing still has potential to stop hunt a little bit. So give it some lee room. Let it do its thing. If it comes up here, hits the blueberry, doesn't take out that hit, and it's still divergent in a sense, because this might actually shoot up into the overbought zone, then make a pattern. But wait on this pair, because I do believe this thing is going to take a drop. All right, so just wait on it. I want to see this thing drop down to that Mayo and at least that recent low right here, and I'll even adjust it. Right here. Cool. So we'll see how that goes. And it's not even divergent on the 4 hours. So this thing has to continue down. Same thing with GA. This thing probably threw one too. Didn't throw like an evening star, but it did tank hard as fuck on the daily and on the 4 hour. And it's not divergent. So same shit with this one. EA, GA, you're looking for sells. That's it. Stop hunt high, looking for sells. That's if it doesn't break this water, you'll see it come out to that stationary 50 again, it'll tank. You'll watch it. So just wait for it. I'll be looking at these pairs tonight, but my main focus is the first 4 pairs. So we'll see how this goes. And then G Chief, We already said this was going to be a drop. It came back. Here's the trend line. It broke it, retested on it exactly on the line, and it dropped hella hard at the end of the week last week. So it pulled back, didn't quite make a low, but it is pulling back right now. Can wait for this thing to continue to drop again. All right, because it's going to retest. So we'll see this thing drop down to the recent low at least. It's hitting the water right now. Recent low is about 50 pips away. All right, so look for this thing to be another sell. All right. So in conclusion, I see EU being a straight drop overall, and I'm getting that based off of what I'm seeing on the hour. GU, I see being a straight drop as well. We'll see how everything pans out. I want to see how this RSI goes. If it does somehow stop hunt, just be aware of that. It can stop hunt, but my overall direction for these is still down. I'm looking for these to 100% drop. AU is going to be a drop. Gold drop. UCHIEF buy. UCAD buy. UJ possible drop to that trend line. If it breaks it, to continue down. If it doesn't, it's going to continue up. GJ drop. EA drop. GA drop. GCHIEF drop. So that's what we're looking for. Any questions? Any questions? And I'll be in the chat, so we're going to be going over this shit, but I'm looking at EU, GU, AU I'm looking at heavily, actually, because...
So when you put your take profits, you're putting it off of the last EMA, or you're going to do it based off of the support and resistance?
If I were to, like, sell it right now, I would place my take profit here, just for safekeeping, just to be sure. But if it breaks this, what I would do is if you want to be conservative, you would place it here. If you want it to be technical, you could go off of like this low here. You could also even move it down just a little bit more, actually, about here. And right between the 144 and the Mayo. That's another safety zone. That's probably what I would do, honestly, if it did decide to drop, because this thing has to go back down. But let's say for GU, for example, this one I definitely see at least going down to here. So you can see the blueberry. I think it's actually going to break that because it always breaks that. I think it's going to go down to like the recent low, like right here, to be completely honest. That's what I see happening. How many pips is that? $100 pips. But I see these being straight drops, guys. I'll be watching them for I'm not trading them right now, but just be careful. If I see something early on, I will let you guys know. So, all right, guys, I will talk to you tomorrow. Let's catch these pips, and I'll see you guys in the group. I plan on making some fucking money this week, so let's do it. Peace out, everybody.